Earth is flat.
Zero and liftoff of Space Shuttle.
I like to tell people, because it's true, that there is a secret to being an astronaut. And the secret is that nobody just gets to be an astronaut.
Whenever I show film from my 6-month expedition on the space station, I have to qualify some of the scenes, and I'll say things like I have one of the space station like this, where the Earth is moving below it. The station, shuttle took it, and I'll say, I know this looks like animation, but it's actually really real.
So there's the space station. I love that this is not animation. This is film taken by a shuttle of the space station. And so this is real. It's not animation. And this is our space station. This is a movie. This is not a drawing or a cartoon. It's really a movie. And I love this video because it looks like animation, like something that somebody made, but it's actually real footage. And it came up in the payload bay of the shuttle, and that's the docking ring you see right there. That video, again, doesn't really look real. So there's the space station. I love that this is not animation. This is film taken by a shuttle of the space station. And so this is real. It's not animation.
It's about painstaking craftsmanship. It's about the teamwork required to place a dream on film.
Whether it's a full-scale mock-up of the shuttle used by astronauts for training, or a display model of a futuristic lunar transportation system, a small group of craftsmen at NASA's Johnson Space Center has probably had a hand in their construction. For 30 years, modeling has been an integral part of engineering support for the space program. Each project, whether large or small, has its own set of challenges, according to veteran model builder Mike McGuire.
It's just skills acquired over a period of time. I don't believe there's a school that you can actually go to and learn everything that's done out here in the model shop. It's a pretty unique position.
Although labor-saving devices play a vital role in modeling, it is the skill and artistic ability of the people that bring ideas to life. The model builders, helping turn the concepts of today into the flight hardware of tomorrow.
And this is our space station. This is a movie. This is not a drawing or a cartoon. It's really a movie. The space station itself is, I like to see pictures of it. It looks to me like it's an animation, like this was a cartoon, but that's a real place.
Mama didn't tell me that the world is unreal. Imaginary story, lies and unreal. The truth, the lies, and the truth and fairy tale lies don't have a Prince of Wales. I never get told what is real and true. That's why I put truth out of the blue. Never really did. No one really cares what our heart it hurts.
We have many questions to ask, and we are excited to be asking them of an astronaut who has so much experience. We still have a lot of energy in this room, right, kids?
Hi, this is Nayeli. What do you miss the most about Earth when you are in flight?
What do you miss most from the Earth? First question. What do you miss most about Earth?
That's a very good question.
Hi, this is Danny. Do you ever see a shooting star fly past the space station?
Hi, my name is David Greenwood, and I'm in grade 6, and I was wondering about how much space junk is there in the Earth's atmosphere that you can see from the space station?
Hello, my name is Jenna Folkman, and I am in 3rd grade. My question is, are shooting stars prettier in space than they are on Earth?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Do I ever see shooting stars? Is that what you said?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, you know, to see a shooting star, you see it when a meteor hits the atmosphere, and then we call it a meteorite. And we see it because of the friction and the heat that it builds up because it's going so fast through the atmosphere. We're above the atmosphere up here. So to see meteorites, and I have seen a couple on occasion when I've been in the window looking out at Earth nighttime, orbital nighttime, when it's night where we're flying over. I've seen them, but they've been below us, which is very strange as they pass through the atmosphere.
Well, the interesting thing about shooting stars is when we see them below us, because a shooting star is actually a meteor that's coming through the Earth's atmosphere, and that's why it's burning as it's coming through the Earth's atmosphere. Well, we are above the Earth's atmosphere. So when we look down is when we would see shooting stars. So in that way, they're pretty in a different way than what you see when you're on the surface of the Earth.
All space is full of junk or debris. The Earth gets hit by 100 tons a day of space debris. 100 tons a day hits our Earth. Every time you see a shooting star or a meteorite or something, those are bits of debris coming from the universe. 100 tons a day. Some of it is human-made, only a little bit, but there is some. And from the space station, though, everything's going really, really fast. We are going 5 miles a second, 8 kilometers a second. So all the debris is going faster than a bullet. So you can't see it normally. The only time I've ever seen space debris is when it burned up in the atmosphere underneath me, and I watched a meteorite burn up in the atmosphere. And that was kind of a spooky feeling because that meteorite could have hit us and not just been caught by the Earth's gravity into the atmosphere. But even though we know there's some around, space is big, and we get peppered by tiny bits all the time. But the space station's a good ship, big, strong ship, and so far, so good.
Hi, my name is Graciela Penafather Moreno, and I'm in grade 5. Why does the International Space Station travel so fast?
Let me explain it like this. If you went outside of the museum that you're in on the roof and jumped off the roof, if you could go across that roof so fast that as you fell, as you came off the roof, the Earth curved underneath you, so that you were falling, but you were going so fast that the Earth was curving away from you, so you never actually hit the ground. You just kept falling, and the Earth kept curving. You have to go really fast, 8 kilometers a second, 28,000 kilometers an hour. But if you can get yourself going 500 kilometers a minute, then you will be weightless, because you'll fall at exactly the same speed that the Earth curves.
We are flying at about 8 kilometers per second. In a way, the surface of the Earth is curving away from us, so that we never crash onto it. And all those objects, including me, appear to float. Big M is the mass of the Earth in kilograms. So that would be around 6 million kilograms. Why am I floating?
Hi, my name is Tom Lane, and I'm in grade 6. I'm wondering, how long did it take to build the International Space Station?
Tom, the space station is big. I wish I could show you it all. It's huge. It's the size of 5 hockey rinks. It's very big. And each piece came up one at a time, and we put them all together. The Canadarm, our big robot arm, reached out and grabbed each piece and attached it as we built the station and made it bigger and bigger. And the very first piece came up 15 years ago in 1998. I was working down in Mission Control that day, and we've slowly built it. I helped build it back on my first flight up here back 12 years ago. People started living here, I think, 12 years ago, and I'm on Expedition 35, so we've had people living here for a long time, and we're still adding to it. There's still pieces coming up. I think you read maybe this week that there's a module that's inflatable that we're going to bring up in a couple years, and the Russians still have a laboratory to come up. So it's slowly getting built. It's like a city that you can never really say it's finished. It started a long time ago, and we slowly add to it and make it bigger and more capable. And right now it is the biggest, most powerful, most capable human building laboratory in space that humanity has ever built.
Hello, this is Jillian. What experiments are you working on in space that will help people on Earth?
We do a wide variety of experiments, as you probably know, doing your research into the program. We do experiments across the different spectrum of science disciplines. One of the most interesting things that we do, areas that we study, are the human body and the effects of weightlessness on the human body.
Hello. I'm Don Pettit, and we're going to work with Legos today and learn about rockets. So, we have this containment system, and we use this for bona fide scientific experiments project. We can use this to help put together some of our Legos so that we won't lose any of the pieces. So now we have the Legos here. Let's check the instruction manual one more time to make sure that I built my rocket correctly. So I'm going to reach up here, grab the instruction book. Here is the NASA Space Station Lego guide. You know what I have? I've got an interspace vehicle. This kind of a rocket and this space shuttle kind of rocket. We've got this new vehicle, which once you're in low Earth orbit, we could take this vehicle to Mars. Maybe we could fly this vehicle to the moons of Jupiter. So it is really amazing that with our engineering skills, we can get into space off of planet Earth in the first place.
My name is Reed Humelet, and I am in 5th grade. My question is, how long did it take you to get to the space station?
It took us in the Soyuz rocket about 6 hours. And it took us, once we launched from the Earth, it was about 8 minutes or so before we were in orbit around the Earth. And then we orbited the Earth during burns of our jets to get closer and closer to the space station. And it was about 4 orbits around the Earth, and each one about 90 minutes. So it was about 6 hours, and we were here. So it was, a trip to Minneapolis and back, basically.
But the acceleration builds up very, very quickly. And it only takes a few seconds before you realize that you are moving out, and you're moving out fast. And after a few minutes, of course, you get the sensation of speed as you see the Earth going by. And then you see that the sky turn from the blue sky that we see when we get above the weather, if we're going through weather, and the blue turns to black, even though it's daytime and the sun is shining, and you know you're entering space. Fired, like, imagine getting fired on a slingshot.
It's actually an incredible feeling.
Elena would like to know, how did you become an astronaut?
But just about everybody is in science, engineering, technology of some type, or the medical field.
Hi, this is Enzo. Would you want to go on a mission to Mars?
That's a good question. Thankfully, I don't have to answer that question because I think Mars will be beyond my career. You know, we leave Earth and we orbit the Earth, and we can look out the window from the space station. We can see the Earth all the time, day and night. We orbit the Earth 16 times a day, every 90 minutes.
Ben would like to know, is it fun to play with your food in space?
Every astronaut, no matter how old he or she is, turns into a kid again to play with the food. We play with the food all the time, and it's a lot of fun.
Hi, this is Leilani. Will pets ever be allowed on the International Space Station?
Well, we have had bugs and animals on board the International Space Station. I wouldn't call them pets, though. Usually they're part of an experiment.
It's fantastic being up here in space. I've been very busy getting to work on lots of experiments and also to help another astronaut settle in.
Reporting for duty.
Miss Mouse, that's right. Miss Mouse did so well on her training that she got to come along too. Come on, Miss Mouse, let's show everybody what we can do in space.
Space station is a serious place.
His little tiger Hobbs came up on the supply ship.
And I was wondering if you play any games in space that you can't play with gravity, or games that become more difficult or fun without in zero G.
Yeah, this is a great place for games. You would love it here. Imagine playing, hide and go seek up here. where you could float into any cupboard. You could hide up in the ceiling or in any sort of corner. So it's a great place for that. But we don't play hide and go seek very often. We're playing a game of Scrabble right now, but Scrabble's pretty hard without gravity because your pieces float all over. You could play darts here, but you wouldn't want pointy darts because we're inside a spaceship. But, you know, if your dart just had a big lump on the end with Velcro and you threw it nice and slowly, maybe with big feathers on the end, then you could play darts. But when you throw darts on Earth, gravity pulls them, so they curve as you throw them. Here, they would go straight. You could throw your dart and it would go absolutely all the way to the target because there wouldn't be a curve of gravity. So I think, you know, this would be a fun place to figure out how to play a bunch of games. And we play a little in our spare time, but mostly we're here to work.
I hear that your sense of taste gets weaker in space. Is that true?
Emily, your sense of taste, it's sort of like when you have a cold. And when you have a cold, all of the stuff that normally drains out of your nose gets plugged up there. And part of your taste is from your tongue and your smell and your senses. And when you can't smell, your food is hard to taste. It's the same for astronauts, because when we get to space, there's no gravity to pull all the stuff out of our head. And so we get sort of a swollen head, and it fills up our nose and makes our tongue kind of swollen, and you can't taste your food.
Corpus Christi School in grade 6, and I was wondering what would happen if you put a marshmallow outside the space station.
Well, you can see right through that window there, that's outside the space station. There's just a couple layers of glass between us and what is out there, which is the vacuum of space. There's no air. It's completely empty. And in the sun, in the shiny part, it's 150 degrees. And in the shade, it's minus 120 degrees. And in a marshmallow, there's all that sort of air pockets all trapped in there. That's what makes it all spongy. So your marshmallow would swell right up. And then if it went outside in the dark, if we were behind the Earth, your marshmallow would swell up and freeze. And so you'd have like a marshmallow snowball. And if your marshmallow was in the sun, if you went out on the sunny side, it would swell up and get all gooey. Not like roasting a marshmallow, but you'd have a big gooey mass of a marshmallow, sort of like a big eyeball or something. So marshmallows wouldn't be very good on the outside of the spaceship. But if we had a marshmallow on the inside of the spaceship, I'd eat it.
Hi, my name is Katrina Lane, and I'm in grade 6. My question is, what does the space station smell like?
What does it smell like? It doesn't really have a strong, distinctive smell. It's not a bad smell at all. It maybe smells like being in an airplane. It maybe smells like being in an airplane. In a big building, or maybe a nice clean hospital building or something. We work hard to keep it smelling good and healthy. It's good for our health and doesn't let any bacteria grow. And it's better if it doesn't have a smell that you don't like.
I hate to tell you, Daniel, but we don't shower on the ISS. It's a good thing that this is video only and you can't smell us.
Shirts. We have one shirt per month. So socks we change about once a week.
Every smell that's in here, there's no place for it to go. There's no way for it to get processed except by my lungs or maybe by the equipment.
Hi, I'm Luke Jeeves, and I'm in grade 6, and I was wondering what happens when you sneeze in space.
What happens when we sneeze in space? Well, let's try. Okay, I'll get myself set. I'm going to sneeze. Let's see what happens. Let me get stable. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways to see what happens. Here we go. Nothing. Oh, maybe I'm rotating a tiny bit. So when you sneeze, of course, your body is trying to get something out of your nose, and it pushes it out pretty fast. So that little bit of stuff pushing out of your nose would push you back very slightly. But you have a lot of mass, and the stuff coming out of your nose just has a tiny bit of mass, so it doesn't move you very much. So, not much, but also in space, we cover our noses when we sneeze.
Hi, Chris. Hello.
How do you clean up a mess in space? Good question, because it's not going to fall on the floor. It's not going to fly up into the air. It's just going to float around until it runs into something. So let's make a little mess. Let's squirt some water as if it got away here. So those little drops are kind of departing, and then I've got a ball of water here just floating around.
So water is also very dangerous on the space station.
Just floating around.
So water is also very dangerous on the space station because we have a lot of electricity. So we need to be very careful.
So you look for a dry rag. You grab a rag. And we could grab a Russian rag. Here's a nice Russian rag. Here, get it out. My ball of water is still just floating there, fortunately. Get a rag out. Let it float away. And then bring my ball of water back on the rag. My ball of water is on this rag now. And what we'll do with this rag is we'll just hang it on a clip somewhere and let it evaporate. And that way the water gets picked up by the humidifiers of the spaceship and goes back into our water system, gets purified back into drinking water, so we don't lose the water. But if it was something else, something a little nasty, then of course we could get a more rugged cleaner, just a great big cloth to wipe it up. Or if it was something a little sticky, we could get kind of baby wipes. We use pre-moistened wipes that then you can clean off the sticky stuff that's maybe stuck to the wall and dried, or if you got jam on something. But what do you do if something nasty like a battery leaks or some sort of nasty liquid is floating around? Here's our contaminated cleanup kit, and you of course want to protect your eyes. So you put on goggles, and you want to protect your mucous membranes and your lungs. So we put on a mask, try not to break it. Okay, so now I have my mask and my goggles on, and then we want to protect our hands. We have special gloves that protect us against chemicals. They're called silver shield gloves. So I put on my silver shield gloves, and now I am ready with various types of absorbing things. And in fact, we have some great big ones, special soak-up mitts that we could put on top of a nasty spill, and then at the end of it, if you have the right type of combination, you could hold it in your hand and carefully pull off your glove. And now you've got a nasty thing on the space station, but we would wrap it inside 2 or 3 layers of containment, bags that close, zip up, until we're sure that it's not going to leak out. And then, finally, we're safe, and we can take off our gloves and our goggles and our mask.
My question is, what teacher influenced you the most to make your decision to become an astronaut?
Hi, my name is Niket. I'm in grade 6. I just want to know who or what inspired you to be an astronaut.
Well, you're in grade 6, so you're probably about 10 or 11, maybe 12 years old, probably 10 or 11. And, you know, you've probably heard of some people that have done really interesting things in their life. Someone who's done something that you think, wow, that's cool. Or you've seen someone do something and you think, oh, that's not good. Well, you're going to grow up to be one of those people. You're going to grow up to be somebody, and you're going to do something when you get to be an adult. And when I was your age, I looked at what some of the people were doing, and I watched the very first people walk on the moon. The very first 2 human beings walked on the moon when I was 10 years old, almost 10. This summer I turned 10. And that's what inspired me. I just thought, I'm going to grow up to be something. Why don't I grow up to be that? That looks like an interesting thing to do. Interesting. And so I was inspired to become an astronaut by 2 of the very first explorers.
Welcome to the International Space Station.
In 2nd grade, my question is, does being in space with no gravity feel like floating in water?
really does in a lot of ways. In fact, we use water to train for spacewalks.
Little mermaid, sink or swim right up and look 'em in the eye, swim, little mermaid.
You will just kind of float in the water without moving, and that's very similar to what it is. So we use that, a big pool, to train for spacewalks.
It's not easy to
so we can feel what it's like to move around without gravity.
The ones we all have trusted don't deceive. Maybe it's time to challenge life.
Yeah, it's sort of like swimming. If you look at my arms aren't down by my sides like on Earth. My arms float up. And they're sort of the same as water because there's no gravity pulling them down.
Little mermaid, sink or swim right up and look 'em in the eye, swim, little mermaid, with your sword of truth that's time to pierce the sky.
So it's more like floating in water all the time, not swimming in water, because you can't pull against the air. It doesn't, I'll show you, it won't take me anywhere. It doesn't, I just stand here because the air is not as thick as water. So it's more like just floating in water forever. It's a beautiful freedom. It's lovely to be able to just float around. So try it next time you're in a pool.
Today I woke up in a rage to find this life, this world is just a stage. Only the truth will set us free. So it's time for you to wake up just like me. Swim, little mermaid, sink or swim right up and look 'em in the eye, so swim, little mermaid, with your sword of truth that's time to pierce the sky. With your sword of truth that's time to pierce the sky.
Open the hook. Open the hook.
Truth, it's time to pierce the sky.
Scuba tanks in space? Snorkels and scuba tanks in space?
You gotta tell me what it's like to be in space.
What's it like to be in space? Well, it's a lot like being in the pool here.
We'll continue to do what it takes to turn science fiction into science fact. That's what we do.
Hello, my name is Chloe Winters and I am in 5th grade. My question is, what is your favorite thing to do aboard the space station?
Well, there are a lot of really cool things to do here. Looking out the window is, of course, one of the best. But what I also like to do, I like zipping around. You can get moving pretty fast. We have handrails on all the walls here, and you can hold on with your feet or just push off with your hands. And I like zipping around corners and flipping upside down, because sometimes what you're doing, the floor is actually what would seem like the floor, and sometimes the floor can be one of the walls. And so it's fun to just kind of zip around corners and change your orientation and just float all over the place. It's a lot of fun.
Great to talk to you this morning, Sunny. Thanks for taking a few minutes of your time out to to answer some questions. By now, does the station feel like home?
It's definitely our home at this moment in time. You might see my hair has grown a little bit longer. I think I'm getting used to being up here, and the long hair is good with me. I think we have to clean up before the next crew comes here, just like when you have visitors at your house. You want to probably take this weekend or the weekend before they arrive to clean up. Actually, I love being up here and I love floating around. You know it's not going to last forever, so you know, I think you take advantage of flying around as much as possible. You know, being in microgravity and flying around in space is priceless, and I mean, I think we're cherishing every moment we have of it. It always adds a little more dynamic atmosphere when people are flying around.
For much longer than you have in your previous trips into space, do you find there's a difference?
I can fly. I can go all different directions. I can do whatever I want. It's wonderful being in weightlessness this time. I'm fully adapted to it. I don't just feel like a visitor here now. I feel like a spaceling. I mean, it's wonderful to get completely used to being weightless, to have your body used to it. I exercise 2 hours every day to keep myself strong, but my body loves being in weightlessness. It's wonderful to be able to fly and float and watch this microphone. To just be able to float things to each other through space, it's like magic.
Hi, my name is Isabel Godding. I am in kindergarten. How do you like being in space?
Like I said before, floating around and zipping around as fast as you can without gravity and doing the flips, it is really a lot of fun.
You know, I would love to spend a year on the space station. It is a great place to live. You know, the International Space Station is a great place to live for a year. There's lots to do here. There's science experiments.
And you and your crew are due a Halloween Day delivery by a Russian Progress spacecraft.
Well, that's interesting. Halloween happens to be one of my favorite holidays just because it's a lot of fun and people act goofy, and you know, there's always candy involved, and so it's exciting. So got a little bit of a costume from my folks for my birthday because my birthday happens to fall on National Talk Like a Pirate Day. So I think we're all set for costumes up here for Halloween. And
and I am in second grade. My question is, what is the closest thing you have seen looking out the ISS window?
I've actually seen a lot of cool things. I've liked looking at the aurora that I mentioned, which is like the northern lights and the southern lights.
Silicon, I'm in 5th grade. My question is, how is the research going at the International Space Station?
Our research is going very well. We have, at any one time, about 150 different experiments going on. A lot of them we as astronauts are involved in personally, and a lot of them we're not. Some of them we just hook up experiments in some of these racks that you see on the walls here, and then they're completely controlled by the ground. Some of the experiments we do on ourselves, and so there's a lot going on, and it's all going very well, and I think the scientists that are on Earth are learning a lot and pretty excited about what they're learning.
Disciplines, whether it's you know, basic physics, like you know, doing the spheres experiment there, and Misha assists with some of this science.
Hello, Karen. My name is Marjorie Quam, and I was one of your former English teachers. My question is, how is what you are currently doing on this mission going to impact life on Earth?
That gravity is a very, very strong component of how things work when we're on Earth. Like you look at a fluid, we're doing some experiments with fluids that have little particles in them. Well, when you're on Earth, these particles are affected so much by gravity that it's hard to tell what's happening, how they're interacting with each other. So when you do the experiments here on the space station, you can look at how they interact with each other and how they interact with the fluid, and then you can optimize the way that they work on the ground. This is what I've made. It's far from being a masterpiece. I've discovered several challenges with cutting and piecing and stitching and weightlessness, but it was made in space. I'll be bringing this block back with me when I return to Earth, and I'm inviting all of you to create your own star-themed quilt blocks. We'll be combining them with my block to create a quilt for next year's 40th Anniversary International Quilt Festival in Houston, where I hope to make a special appearance. I can't wait to see what we make together. So that's one of the big things that how, doing this research we do here can benefit and be used on the Earth. Hopefully what I'm doing here, I hope I can inspire you and the kids there.
We'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. Dangerous radiation.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. We only can fly in Earth orbit. That's not Earth orbit. Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to.
Scott Kelly, Expedition 46 International Space Station Commander.
Dr. Evil. I didn't spend 6 years in evil medical school to be called Mr. Thank you very much.
I do think about the effects of radiation. The reason I'm here is to learn more about it, so someday we can travel further from low Earth orbit than we ever have before.
Oh, hell, let's just do what we always do. Hijack some nuclear weapons and hold the world hostage.
The effects of radiation, so someday we can travel further from low Earth orbit than we ever have before.
Scott, I've been a frickin' evil doctor for 30 frickin' years, okay?
Yeah. Commander, thank you so much. Appreciate everything you're doing, not only for the United States, but for the world at the International Space Station. And
cut me some frickin' slack.
You take a very, very important place in the history of the American space program, so we thank you for that.
Thanks, Commander.
Thank you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Honey, I'm still gonna melt every city on the planet with liquid hot magma.
As you know better than I do, we're going to have to come up with the whole new science, not just commercial research, but how are we, manipulating? How are we, manipulating? We got to put money in.
Station, this is the Associated Press. How do you hear me?
And one of the biggest challenges is the harness system. Obviously, my body weight has to be kept firmly attached to the harness. It has to be kept firmly attached to the nose by this harness, and that can rub on the shoulders and around the waist.
What you say? I don't trust these old. Yeah. And I don't trust these niggas. I don't trust these old.
But I've got the harness fitting pretty well now.
I don't trust these old. Trust these niggas, I don't get caught up though.
As a teenager, I became very interested and very passionate about the harness.
I don't trust these old. And I don't trust these niggas, I don't get caught up though.
Practice makes perfect.
I pull them triggers, I don't trust these old.
And it was just the most exhilarating feeling to unloosen your buckles, your harness.
And I don't trust these niggas.
Dimpy, what a man, what a hero.
A massive space shuttle fuel tank the size of half a football field across 16 miles of Los Angeles. Onlookers took selfies and watched from rooftops as the enormous tank rolled to make way for the 66,000-pound tank.
And one to cut the ribbon on the grand opening of the school they attended that now bears their name, Kelly Elementary.
It's exciting, to be here, obviously. It's a great honor. Amazing.
3, 2, 1.
I was just a guy from New Jersey.
Just a fraud bald guy from New Jersey.
In the Navy. And then a little while later, I had the opportunity to serve my country as an astronaut, flying to space 4 times. Make some positive steps in how we deal with guns and gun violence. But both of us have been quite honored to have a second opportunity.
This is Mark Kelly.
My brother from another mother.
Okay, his twin brother is Scott Kelly, and he's supposed to be currently in space.
I already had someone created in my image. He's evil, he wants to take over the world, and he fits easily into most overhead storage bins.
It takes months and months, even years of preparation to get to that point where you ignite the solid rocket boosters on that space shuttle and build an incredible amount of momentum to complete this mission.
He's the snake to my mongoose, or the mongoose to my snake. Either way, it's bad.
Right.
Going in the right direction, Mach 25, on to success to make Hillary our next president of the United States. One of the things Gabby always reminds me when I watch her after 5 years trying to overcome this.
What does she remind you of? A horrible crisis actor? Because that's what she reminds thousands of people of, including myself, Mark.
Dramatic brain.
Keep in mind, she survived a 9mm hollow point bullet entering the back of her skull, exiting through her forehead, and this is the result we see today. That's what they want you to believe. Just to
Great to be here today. I'm here to talk to you about Hillary Clinton. Hillary is tough. Hillary is courageous. She will fight to send up to the gun lobby. That's why I'm voting for Clinton. Let's work together with Hillary, our president. Thank you very much. Let's work together to make Hillary our president. Let's work together with Hillary, our president. Let's work together to make Hillary our president.
And up here in space without gravity, our bodies don't really need our bones, and they don't need our muscles all that much because we're not walking around all the time. So without the exercise we do every day, our bones and our muscles would degrade very, very fast. And another big thing is the human research. And I talked about using your bones and muscles and losing them. We lose bone mass at a rate 10 times higher than an elderly woman. So this is the perfect place for us to study what kind of measures we can take to mitigate bone loss. And hopefully some of the research we do then can be used for...
Hi Scott, my name's Anthony and I came to ask why when you're in the space station, why are your arms always crossed when you are inside of the space station? Is it because the gravity is pulling your arms against your belly?
That's a good question, Anthony. No, there's nothing to do with gravity. It's because of the folds of fat. Because of all the Twinkies I've eaten, it's cutting into my body harness. Now get in my belly! Get in my belly!
You ready?
To give us a little more flexibility later in the day. Otherwise, I'll just keep it the way it is.
It looks pretty real, right?
You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready?
It looks pretty real, right?
ready? You ready? You ready?
Wow, that is amazing.
It looks pretty real, right?
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Wow, that is amazing.
Thank you so much.
You ready?
That is amazing. That is amazing. Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. That is amazing.
You ready?
That is amazing.
You ready?
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. That is amazing. That is amazing. That is amazing.
It looks pretty real, right?
You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready?
It's just fiction, and they cite sources that cite NASA sources. They don't cite NASA. Check the websites, you'll see.
Dimpy, what a man, what a hero.
And what do we have? Oh, this is the wrong book. This is the red book. This is the emergency procedures for space station. And what was it doing where the Lego instruction manual should be? Maybe I ought to take a quick peek at it, because you always have to be ready for an emergency when you're living in a space vehicle. The first thing in here, oh, look at this, it's fire.
Navigator. Stop.
Okay, so here's a soaking wet water cloud. Now let's start wringing it out.
Yes. Severe damage.
It's really wet.
Warning. Evacuate. Warning. The system is shutting down. Warning. Locking doors. Warning. User.
If I let go of the cloud,
Game over.
Okay, so the experiment worked beautifully.
This world is a lie. Nothing is real. This world is a lie. There is nothing I can feel. Nothing in that world will really exist. We merely pursue reality and twist. With a vision and prevail my control that the world is a sport. The world is a lie. Nothing is real. This world is a lie. There is nothing I can feel.
1, 2, 3.
The earth is flat and NASA is full of shit.